Hello, hello. Melissa Dillon, live here on my personal page for December to Remember, a month in which I am manifesting $1 million in 1 month. I would love if it was this month, but it can be any month. I know it'll be some month within my future. And I want to do a public display of manifesting and showing people what the process looks like of declaring what it is you want, going after it, and doing the internal work. And to be 100% honest, I don't know if I will get through this without crying because I've been crying. And we're getting close to midnight, so I had to go live before the day is over in order to go live every single day for December to Remember. And so much about December to Remember is the internal work, what you're doing on yourself, how you're working through things, and growing from your programming, your conditioning, what you've been through in your life, what you have or haven't learned, how to communicate, how to talk to people, how to be married, how to communicate with your spouse, how to feel love, how to feel supported, how to give love, how to give support. So much of the work is that stuff. And it's not easy. What's so funny about making money and running a business and all the things is the business itself, easy. The money itself, easy. What makes it hard is our feelings. What makes it hard is anything we've got going on internally that needs to be cleaned up. And that's the hard part. That's the hard work, is taking a look on the inside, seeing what's going on, seeing what skills you do or don't have, seeing what maturity you do or don't have, and being willing to learn and grow. The more I work on my internal stuff, the better, easier business gets, the better money gets. But what you don't know, you don't know. And what's cool about running a business and doing these things is it lets you know that there's things that have to be worked on. It lets you know that there's stuff inside. It lets you know that there's skills you don't have. So many times in this journey, I have uncovered the lack of leadership that I have. I'm a leader of a company. And the most I've ever really led before is, 30 kids in a classroom. And now I'm leading people with their jobs. And there's skills that I didn't have. And I had to learn those skills. I had to grow up. I had to figure things out. And that's what matters the most, is that you're willing to figure things out. And you're willing to go after what it is that you want. And it all ends up working out better, in the end, going through those things. There's times where I wanted to, run away and disappear and forget it all. But what's so important is seeing it through and sticking through it and learning the skills you need to learn. When we say we want to manifest these amazing things in our life, we want to achieve amazing things. As Melanie talks about, leaders are bridges, and bridges have to be tested. I have to be very, very strong to be able to create the life that I want to create, to be able to manifest the things that I want to manifest. I want to change the entire financial future of my family, of people who work for me, of anyone on the planet, people who are tired of working a job that they hate, people who go to work every day, so upset and hating their job and hating their life and hating their situation and feeling like there's no way out and there's nothing else that they can do because they have to eat and they have to get money to do that. And so they have to get this job, but then they barely get enough job to eat the food that they need to eat, to pay their car bill. There's so much life beyond that. And I want to show as many people as I possibly can, that you can have a life different from that. That you can have a life where you get to, wake up doing what it is you love to do, that you can bring in money from your purpose and from your passion. That you don't have to be stuck in this system of a job that's soul sucking and like destroys, your essence of who you are, and, someone else deciding, what you get to be doing each day, as a teacher in the school system, they told me, my older adopted daughter makes fun of me because I'm not the best with grammar. Read any of my stuff, spelling, not huge, not the best speller, not the best on grammar. And I was her English teacher. And I'm like, that was not my choice. They made me teach English. I was a social studies teacher. That's storytelling. That's history. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would have to teach somebody grammar. I went to school to be a middle school teacher. To be a middle school teacher teaching history and social studies, not teaching English. But they made me teach English. And I was great at it, getting kids to write 5-paragraph essays and getting them to write in ways they never had. And, it's not to say that I wasn't great at my job, but like they decided what I was going to do, and I had to listen. Like the time when I had one of the best teaching jobs I ever had, they literally hired me as an empowerment teacher. Like, hello, that's like who I am. I love to empower people. I love to inspire people. I love to, increase people's positivity in their lives. And that was the sole purpose of my job, the empowerment teacher. And they like, we want you to teach the 7 habits, and we want you to empower these kids. We want to uplift their spirits. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And halfway through the year, they came to me and they said, sorry, you're no longer doing this anymore. Well, you can keep doing it, but if you do it, your dear friend is going to have to lose their job, because we either need you to take that position, you two switch, and he will become study hall and you will become the social studies teacher. And the kids hated it. I hated it. It went from me, going to school each day with this new crazy positive idea about what I was going to do with the kids. And we would just have conversations. We would talk about real stuff, and it was amazing. And then now I had to be this teacher teaching social studies, and it changed the dynamic of everything. And I didn't like it. The kids didn't like it, and they forced me to do it. And that's what had to. This is the rules. This is what you must do if you want this job. If you want to be here, this is what you have to do. And I really had no choice. And I was imprisoned to whatever it was that I had a choice. I could quit, obviously. And I did. I finished out the school year. I didn't feel like quitting on the kids in the middle of the school year. But it was up to my bosses. It was up to, other people to decide how I used my time, how I used my talents, how I used my skills, how I did everything that I did. And, as the insurance exam queen, I get to take full ownership of that. And like a big piece of like having pink and yellow hair and wearing crop tops and jewelry was just a big middle finger to like corporate world that was like, you have to look like this and dress like this. And I'm like, I'm literally going to start a business looking like that. Like, married to a white boy rapper at the time, wearing my big old chains with my pink and yellow hair. And I'm like, I'm just going to do a big F you to all the people who said I must follow these rules. I broke every rule. I didn't even edit my YouTube videos. I didn't even put tags in there for a long time, which is something that's pretty important on YouTube. I broke every rule about how I should look, how I should talk, what I should say, how I need to edit my videos. I didn't have a business plan. My dad was like, what's your 5-year business plan? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing in 5 days. The next 5 hours. I'm figuring this out moment by moment, minute by minute. I'm just winging it until, it works. And it's worked the entire time. my business has never had like a down or a dip. You know, it's just steadily grows constantly. And that's amazing. And I didn't follow any of the rules. I didn't look like what you're supposed to look like if you're training people in corporate insurance positions, you know, and insurance is filled with a lot of old white men. And here I am with my pink and yellow hair and my big old chains and my crop tops and my nipples out, just teaching people the concepts. Nothing. In fact, it popped up in my memories. Actually, I was going back to the month of January of 2024, so January of this year, to look back and see what magical moments I had, because that was one of the homeworks that I have from Melanie Ann Layer in the Finish Line program. She talks about finding, you know, the most amazing moments from the year, looking at your year in hindsight, where instead of creating a vision board for the future, you create, you know, a hindsight board of how, and you can do both, like you can do a vision board for your future too, but she talked about creating a hindsight board of all the magical moments that you had for the past year. And I was looking through the pictures in December, and there was a YouTube comment that I took a screenshot of. It said something along the lines of, not professional, cannot handle this at all. Like, can't take you seriously. Good luck passing your exam without me. I mean, you can. I'm not. It's just, I've never cared. I haven't cared. I have not cared what people have thought about me. I have not cared. Like, I did not follow the rules. I was in full rebellion mode when I started my insurance exam queen business. I rebelled against every rule, every way you're supposed to do things. And I literally built the most amazing business. And it's been freaking fantastic. And along the journey, I have had to grow and develop even more. You know, like I said earlier, I've never been a leader beyond leading kids in the classroom. You know, it's a lot different leading 30 kids than it is leading employees. In fact, today, Randy, my COO, just posted about how when she started working at the same company that both of us were working for, she had just had a crazy life position where she had went from this amazing company, this, you know, amazing salary, where she had to just leave it all because of her relationship. And she was, she started working for us part-time. Oh, she just popped on right now. How funny. And anyway, she was teaching part-time. I had been teaching, you know, part-time. I think I might have been full-time at this point. I don't fully remember. But our manager was going to retire. Like, we all knew this. And everyone assumed that I was going to take her position, that I would become the new instructor manager because I had time there. I was the top instructor. And they're like, of course, Melissa is the shoo-in. I heard that phrase so many times, like, Melissa's the shoo-in for this position. And when it came time to fill that position, when she officially retired, I was like, I don't want it, but you better take my recommendation of who should take that position. That's basically how I told it to my boss. I was like, I don't want it, but it's my right of who I give it away to. That's essentially my attitude on that. And of course, they hired, you know, Randy for the position, who actually has management experience, who likes managing people. I had no desire to be a manager, like none. I was like, I'm a teacher. Like, I want to stay in the teaching position. I will lead the other instructors and I will teach the other instructors how to instruct. Like, that's no problem. But managing people and having hard and difficult conversations and deciding people's pay and like all that, like, I don't want none of that. And now I have to own all of that as the CEO. So on the offside of not following any rules and rebelling and doing this my own way, you know, I had to also step up and be a leader. And I'm still learning. Like, I'm still learning how to be a leader. And that's one of the things I want people to know more than anything else, is you get to do it messy. You get to do it figuring it out. It doesn't have to be pristine and perfect for things to happen, for money to be made. There's so many people in this journey who's like, I have to have everything figured out perfectly before the universe will send me, big amounts of money. No, you don't. I will tell you right now. I don't know that I have anything figured out perfectly. And we have built up to a 6-figure a month business, I'm still struggling almost daily in my ability to communicate with my husband. Skills I haven't had, skills I don't know, let's look at my I haven't been a wife for a very long time. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out every day as I go. And that's the magic, is figuring things out, a willingness to say, I will figure it out. Let's keep going. I'm going to figure it out. Let's keep going moment by moment. I'm going to figure it out. Let's keep going. I'm going to find the answer. Let's keep going. Yes, we're going to get it. Let's keep going. And that's the energy and the spirit that I have more than anything else. And a rebellion. I'm total rebel. Although I am growing out my hair right now. I have this feeling, and there's definitely some things in play too, where I really do need to make wonderful, beautiful videos for a corporate type world. And I'm ready to move into that. And I'm ready to let go of some of my rebellious nature of pink hair and yellow mohawked and gold chains. None of that's really going to go away forever. But I think a big piece of that was just a big middle finger to the corporate world when I started my business. Go ahead, watch me start this amazing business where I make way more money than y'all have ever paid me. And I get to do it looking the way I look. I get to do it talking the way I want to talk. And I get to do it without editing any videos on YouTube. So just watch. And that's really the spirit. But as I grow, as I develop, as I mature, as I want to do different things within my business, I'm molding and I'm changing and I'm, growing into whatever the next phase is. And I'm willing to be in the warm liquid goo phase. A butterfly, in order to be a caterpillar, has to literally turn into warm liquid goo before it turns into a butterfly. And I feel like I do this. I do the warm liquid goo phase on a monthly basis. Sometimes I do it in the middle of a day. Nothing makes sense. What is happening? The world is falling apart. It's building at the same time. What is going on? Sometimes I have the warm liquid goo phase in the middle of the day, but I always have a trust that the butterfly is coming. I always have a trust that I'm going to be flying through the air. I always have a trust that it's all going to work out. I will take the leap over and over and over and over again. Over and over again, I will take the leap for what it is that I want. There's nothing that will get me to stop leaping for what it is that I want to go after. And I think I'm taking leaps for more awesome and amazing things than I may have in my past. But I will always go after what it is that I want. And that is something I really do love about me. And I will always figure it out. I'll always figure it out. Somehow the answer's there. The lesson is there. The truth is there. Whatever it is I need, it's going to show up. It's going to come. I'm going to figure it out. And there's so much mess in the magic. There's so much beauty in the magic. And there's so much fun in just going forward and figuring it out. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard work rewiring your mind that was built by other people in your childhood to work against you. That sucks. The criticism and the way we punish ourselves. I know this too, because I've talked about this, how literally if there was and Melanie talks about this too, if there's a register, every time you have a negative thought, it goes a ding, or a positive thought. If there's a red X or a green check mark, every negative thought is a red X, every positive thought is a green check mark. If you were to print that out on a daily basis, what would you mostly see? And so many of us see, red X, so many of us would have red X's because we talk negatively. I shouldn't have done that. I should do this better. We constantly criticize ourselves over and over again. We criticize ourselves. I should do this. I need to do that. I just did it to myself today. I was I want to eat differently. I want to do this differently. Oh, I haven't done this. Oh my God, I have this whole list of things I need. Oh, when am I going to get, Melissa, stop. incremental changes, one thing at a time. It's all right. Live in the moment. It's okay. I had to stop myself from this train of like criticizing thoughts towards myself. My brain was wired by other people in my childhood so that I would criticize myself, so that I would play small, so that I would be easier for them to manage and maintain as a human being. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles I face with David, is like trying to figure out how to raise this baby so that she's not programmed and conditioned in a way where she hinders who she is and what it is that she feels. And I've got to figure that out. Like I've got to figure out how that works. And I've got to be willing to parent. Like I still have to parent her. I can't let her just run around like a feral animal all the time. There's got to be a balance, and I'm willing to figure it out. I'm willing to find the balance. And I will be in the warm liquid goo phase over and over and over again. But I know I'm always going to come out a butterfly. I know I'm always going to come out flying. I know I'm always going to come out soaring. I always do. I know that every rose grows through some shit. And I'm willing to face it where other people won't. Other people are too afraid to go through the hard stuff. They're too scared to go through the warm liquid goo. You know, I was writing the other day, I said, you either live a painful life avoiding pain, or you live a life of pain and pleasure. Like, so many people live in the avoidance of pain. Even like when you do drugs or you smoke or you drink in order to, you numb out your feelings. You're numbing out the anticipation of pain, or you're numbing out the fact that you feel pain without processing it. You'd rather just numb it to something else. And so you live this painful life avoiding pain, you know, or you face the fact that life has pain, but it also has beauty. And you have to embrace both and live through both and find beauty in both the pain and the pleasure in order to, you know, have an amazing time. Because if you live your whole life avoiding pain, you live your whole life avoiding fear, you didn't live at all. You just numbed yourself out. That's not a life. That's an existence, a time. You're taking up time and space, but you're not experiencing what there is to experience. You're numbing it out or avoiding it or scared of it or whatever. You know, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna take the leap. I'm gonna figure it out. And if I fall, I know I can get back up. I'm willing to crash and burn and get back up. I will be a phoenix over and over again as much as I need to in this lifetime, because I'd rather live my life and experience my life rather than live in the pain of living in the avoidance of pain. When we don't go after what it is we want, when we sit back in what's comfortable, it's just an attempt to avoid the anticipation of pain. We're like, well, if I could start a business and it doesn't work, then I'm going to look like a failure, and then my family will make fun of me, and then they'll be right when they told me that I shouldn't go and do it. And you know what? I'm just going to not do it because they're probably going to be right anyway, and I just can't face it. So then you don't do anything, and they're right because it didn't work. That's not living to me. That's not living. That's like mediocrely existing, taking up time and space on the planet without using your magic. Why? You've got magic, use it. You've got power, use it. You've got beauty, use it. And even when it hurts, and even when it sucks, and even when you're sitting at your kitchen counter crying your eyes out because you don't know how to communicate, you're going to figure it out. You're just going to keep going. You're going to figure it out. And that's where I'm at today. It was a struggle. I sat here for a moment with tears just streaming down my face. And I'm like, I could go live right now. I could just show them the tears. But I sat for a moment and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I don't know, but I made a commitment to go live. And I know when I turn on the camera, the right thing will come out of my mouth. So let's go. I just trust. I trust and I know. I trust and I know that sharing my authentic, vulnerable self is good for the planet. Sharing my vulnerable and authentic self is good for human beings. Sharing my vulnerable and authentic self is good for me. And that's what I choose to do. And I'm scared to say it. but I think I might do it a little bit different, but I'm pretty sure I want to go live every day of 2025. I want to do a 365-day go live challenge. And I think this month was like a warm up for that. So I think now that I said it, I have to do it. I've said it before when I was going to do like prayers for the planet, but honestly, I think my psychic abilities freaked me out a little bit for one of the things I was saying. Like, if you want to hear some like crazy stuff, listen to my prayers for the planet. I put them on YouTube, and I was going to do it for 365 days, but I think around day 5 or 6, I was like, I am saying some earth shattering things that I'm not even prepared to hear. So I'm going to stop doing this right now. But I can still come live and just talk. And maybe once I've done that for a while, I can go back to prayers for the planet. But some of that stuff was a little like, damn, I'm like saying that all the corporate structures are gonna crumble. It was some pretty cool stuff, but it was getting a little scary for me to say every day. I wasn't in a space that I was even ready to hear the stuff that I was saying. So I'm like, nope, we're gonna turn that channel off for right now. Come back later. To be continued. Thank you, Laura. Laura says, I need you in my life every day. Okay. So I'm pretty sure 2025 is going to be a 365-day go live challenge, but I think I'm going to make sure that it happens before the baby goes to bed. And we do have a nanny scheduled to be helping us in 2025. So we'll just have to make sure we get it done earlier in the day. And I'll continue to show up as my beautiful, authentic, vulnerable self for the world to see what it's like to be a human being who's figuring it out as she goes, knowing that she will always fly, soar, land on gold as she's going about her day, her life, her business, whatever it is. Shit is fertilizer. And the sooner you embrace it, the better you can grow. Have an amazing day. I love you all. See you later. Bye.